a Roman legionary, chilled by the northern winds, once stood sentinel on the edge of the known world, his gaze fixed on the mist-shrouded lands beyond a turf wall. He guarded the very boundary of an empire, unaware that centuries later, his forgotten outpost would be uncovered, not by careful excavation, but by the turning of soil in a modern garden. Such discoveries, emerging from the dust and sediment of our world, are reshaping the fundamental timelines of human civilization. From ancient Canada to the Roman frontier. Deep in the heart of Saskatchewan, Canada, near the shimmering waters of Sturgeon Lake, a revelation has surfaced that could rewrite the earliest chapters of the Americas. Archaeologists recently unearthed an indigenous settlement, a place of enduring human presence, that dates back an astonishing 11,000 years. For generations, the prevailing wisdom held that the first peoples of North America were largely nomadic, following the great animal herds across vast landscapes. But this site challenges that perception entirely, suggesting that complex, organized societies built permanent homes and thrived in this land far earlier than previously believed. The key to their settled existence lay with an imposing creature, the extinct Ed bison antiquus. Far larger and more robust than its modern descendants, a single A. bison antiquus could weigh over 400 pounds, providing enough sustenance for an entire community for extended periods. Why traverse a continent in pursuit of sustenance when a literal buffet roamed nearby? This abundance allowed ancient peoples to establish roots, constructing fire pits and crafting tools from local materials, and managing their resources from a fixed location. The discovery, spearheaded by archaeologist Dave Rondahl, even includes a buffalo jump, a cliffside trap designed for large-scale harvesting, illustrating a sophisticated understanding of their environment and prey. These findings compel us to reconsider the very notion of early human migrations and settlements, perhaps even challenging long-held theories about the Bering Strait as the singular entry point into the Americas. Across the globe, in the historic district of Torshak, Russia, another remarkable find unveiled a stark snapshot of a more recent, yet equally turbulent past. Beneath the foundations of a house, archaeologists stumbled upon a shattered clay jar, a traditional Kyrgyzstan, spilling hundreds of gold coins into the earth, 409 gold pieces, minted between 1848 and 1911, bearing the likenesses of Emperors Nicholas I and Nicholas II. The most recent coin, dated 1911, hints at a dramatic moment of concealment. It is almost certain that these coins were hastily interred during the profound chaos of the Russian Revolution, which saw the collapse of the Romanov monarchy in 1917, and the subsequent execution of the imperial family a year later. In times of severe uncertainty, people have always sought to safeguard their wealth, burying it with the silent hope of retrieval. For this person, that hope never materialized. Records from the early 20th century list 24 households on that very street: priests, merchants, a treasurer, artisans, and laborers. The true identity of the person who secreted away this fortune remains a compelling mystery, a silent testament to the desperation and fear that gripped an empire in its final moments. From the sands of Egypt, two distinct voices from the past have emerged. In Luxor, near the tomb of the pharaoh Seneb, a team uncovered a chamber carved into rock. It was filled with 22 brightly painted wooden coffins. Inside, mummies lay preserved, accompanied by rare papyri. These relics date to the Third Intermediate Period, stretching from 1077 BC to 6064 BC. This era is sometimes referred to as Egypt's Dark Ages, following the long reign of Ramses X. This was a period of fragmentation and political shift. Even a high priest of Amun, Smendes, could seize the throne of Lower Egypt. The coffins bore no personal names, only the recurring title, Chantress of Amun. Amun-Ra, the powerful combination of Amun and Ra, represented creation and kingship. His cult was central to Egyptian spiritual and political life. It is believed these individuals were singers or a choir, dedicated to Amun's service. The fragile papyri, some still sealed with their original clay stamps, offer a rare glimpse. They reveal the religious life and societal structure of this often overlooked period. Meanwhile, at the ancient city of Athribis, an astounding 3,000 ostraka were recently added. These inscribed pottery fragments total an incredible 43,000. This makes Athribis home to the largest concentration of such fragments in Egypt. They provide an unparalleled window into the daily lives of its people. These pottery shards served as the everyday paper of ancient Egypt. They recorded school exercises, inventory lists, and tax receipts. These date back to the 3rd century BC. They even recorded delivery orders. This is perhaps the ancient equivalent of requesting goods to your doorstep. They stretch across more than 1,000 years. They reveal the mundane and the sacred, financial struggles, and religious devotion. Through these fragments, we hear the echoes of ordinary lives. They are surprisingly similar in rhythms and concerns to our own. They are separated only by the vast chasm of technology and time. Shifting northwards, on a seemingly ordinary garden plot in Scotland, a discovery was made. It reconnected the present to the formidable power of Rome. In 2017, archaeologists began investigating stone foundations. These proved to be fragments of the Antonine Wall. Commissioned by Emperor Antoninus Pius around 142 AD, this vast fortification was a bold declaration. It was an aggressive declaration of Roman dominance. It was designed to cut across the neck of Scotland. This marked the absolute, northernmost boundary of the empire. Built 2 decades after Hadrian's Wall, the Antonine Wall was a shorter, 37-mile turf construction. It was punctuated by 17 smaller fortlets and manned by an estimated 7,000 soldiers. But Rome had overreached. By 160 AD, relentless Caledonian resistance forced a retreat. The legions abandoned their northern gains. They fell back to the perceived safety of Hadrian's sturdier, stone-built perimeter. The discovery of a fortlet in a private garden, 2 millennia later, is a poignant reminder. It shows imperial ambition and its ultimate limitations. In the southern reaches of the Americas, the ancient site of Monteverde in Chile has become the center of a profound re-evaluation. For decades, it stood as a cornerstone of early American history, dated to a remarkable 14,500 years old. Its discovery in 1976 unearthed stone tools, extinct animal bones, a human footprint, and primitive rope. This challenged the long-held belief that the Clovis people, dated to a maximum of 13,000 years ago, represented the earliest human culture in North America. Monteverde suggested a human presence in South America, before the Clovis era, complicating the narrative of how humans first populated the continent. Yet, a recent re-examination by a team from the University of Wyoming, led by Todd Ceruval and Claudio Latour, has cast doubt on this foundational date. While their new radiocarbon dating initially confirmed the 14,500-year figure, they propose that a volcanic ash layer, deposited 11,000 years ago, may have contaminated the samples. This led to an artificially older reading. Their controversial conclusion suggests Monteverde is actually closer to 8,000 years old. This has ignited a passionate debate among archaeologists, highlighting the delicate and often contentious process of reconstructing the ancient past. Hidden within a Polish forest, archaeologists pursuing a century-old map clue have unearthed the remains of Stolzenberg, a medieval city. Its existence had faded from memory. Founded in the 14th century, this wasn't just a village, but a fortified settlement complete with a town square, main street, and a formidable 18-foot-deep moat. Yet, within 200 years, by the 16th century, Stolzenberg was abandoned. Its downfall remains a mystery, perhaps a casualty of plague, shifting trade routes, or the constant border disputes that reshaped medieval Europe. Adding to the intrigue, the site yielded a strange mix of artifacts, 13th century belt buckles alongside meat cans from World War II, and musket balls from a 1761 clash between Russian and Prussian forces during the 7 Years' War. This single patch of earth reveals layers of human activity across centuries, a testament to enduring strategic importance, even as the specific reasons for its medieval disappearance continue to elude us. From West Africa comes a story of restitution and the deep cultural significance of a single object. France has returned a monumental, Geological, a carved wooden drum weighing 950 pounds and spanning 12 feet, to its rightful home in the Ivory Coast. For generations, the Achin people of the Abidjan region used these sacred drums for inter-village communication, their powerful resonance carrying warnings across miles. It was an early warning system, akin to a sophisticated Morse code. This crucial function, however, made it a target. In 1916, during the era of French colonialism, when slavery was officially abolished but replaced by a system of forced labor, the Geological drums were used to alert villages. They alerted to the approach of colonial authorities, seeking to conscript people. The drum became an impediment to colonial operations, and so, it was looted. For 110 years, it remained in France, a trophy of dominance. Its return is a powerful symbol of cultural heritage reclaimed, and a reminder of the human cost of colonial ambition. In the southern reaches of the Americas, the ancient site of Monteverde in Chile has become the center of a profound re-evaluation. For decades, it stood as a cornerstone of early American history, dated to a remarkable 500 years old. Its discovery in 1976 unearthed stone tools, extinct animal bones, a human footprint, and primitive rope. This challenged the long-held belief that the Clovis people, dated to a maximum of 13,000 years ago, represented the earliest human culture in North America. Monteverde suggested a human presence in South America before the Clovis era, complicating the narrative of how humans first populated the continent. Yet, a recent re-examination by a team from the University of Wyoming, led by Todd Ceruval and Claudio Latour, has cast doubt on this foundational date. While their new radiocarbon dating initially confirmed the 14,500-year figure, they proposed that a volcanic ash layer, deposited 11,000 years ago, may have contaminated the samples. This led to an artificially older reading. Their controversial conclusion suggests Monteverde is actually closer to 8,000 years old. This has ignited a passionate debate among archaeologists, highlighting the delicate and often contentious process of reconstructing the ancient past. In Egypt's revered Valley of the Kings, indelible marks of ancient tourism are found. These marks tell a surprisingly relatable tale. The name Quran is scrawled 8 times in Old Tamil, across 5 different tombs. It speaks of an Indian visitor from the 1st century AD. Tikai Koran came here and saw, his repeated message declares. His arduous journey from India was likely by sea to the Red Sea port. He then traveled to Berenik and then overland. This represents a staggering undertaking for the time. This Koran was no ordinary sightseer. His inscriptions make up a third of all Indian language graffiti. These were found in Egyptian tombs. Some of his marks were 15 to 20 feet above the ground. He went to extraordinary lengths, perhaps even bringing a ladder. He wanted to ensure his presence would endure. Other Indian inscriptions were left by Indra Nandan, messenger of the Kshaharada king. These were also from the 1st century AD. They hint at an organized group of travelers. These ancient tourists, along with Greek and Roman counterparts, left inscriptions. They reveal a shared human impulse to witness grandeur, to experience history, and to leave an enduring mark. Finally, in Brandenburg, Germany, a small, unassuming fragment of metal was found. It drastically revised the history of European weaponry. Discovered near Kletschik Castle by volunteer archaeologist Matthias Dassa. These pieces are believed to be part of the Kletschk hand cannon. It dates back to the 14th century. This weapon is associated with a siege of the castle in 1390. It is now considered the oldest hand cannon ever found in Europe. It predates the Tannenberg rifle, the previous record holder, by 9 years. The discovery is significant because it provides the first archaeological evidence of firearms. These were used in this period, a decade before any written records suggest their presence. The outcome of the 1390 siege and the fate of the von Kitzel family remain unclear. However, this single artifact reveals the technology of black powder. It was likely imported from outside Germany. This technology was reshaping warfare on the continent much earlier than previously understood. Beneath the emerald waters of Lake Issyk-Kul in Kyrgyzstan, Central Asia. Here lie the submerged remnants of a 13th century city. Discovered by archaeologist Valery Kolchenko, the underwater ruins were revealed. They show pieces of masonry, ceramics, animal bones, and even the ghost of a street plan. While not the fabled Atlantis of myth, this Atlantis clone was thriving. It was likely destroyed by a catastrophic earthquake in the 15th century. Geologists suggest that tremors from the nearby Tien Shan Mountains caused the lakebed to shift. The shore then tilted, unleashing waters to flood the bustling streets. It claimed the entire city. It is a quiet, powerful reminder of how relentless forces of nature erase humanity's works.